That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Derrick did a little thing for you. Yes. So I know we wanted to keep it kind of raw, but I thought it'd be fun.
I can't stop this.
All I kept thinking about was that scene from Anchorman. That's Will Ferrell in Anchorman.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's grab that, grab some splash sound effects, layer them and stereoify them, and then let's find some fun, kind of punchy music. You know,
going up. That got me a little bit lightheaded. It was a lot of air coming out. So it's like, I don't know how many times we'll do it.
That's
easy now. Whoa, I got fired up. The left hand, the pin pan, get away from me sometime.
So that's it. That's as far as the production's going to go here. More sound effects to come. But yeah, man, welcome to the show.
Welcome you, sir, to the show. Yeah. Man, how much fun are these things?
Very fun.
I'm going to put it at least at a 9.57.
That's what.
So I want to just keep the number going.
That's why I wanted to put together a fun intro for us.
That's cool.
It makes sense. I mean,
sure.
Does this not make sense? Cannonball!
It does it makes perfect sense since the name of the show is Cannonballing Life with Derrick.
Let's try this. Okay.
Yeah.
What's going to be Cannonball, and then you say with.
Yeah.
And I say Derrick, and you say Coach.
Yeah. I like that.
All right. Cannonball
with
Derrick
and Coach. Woo. All right.
Coming in. Man, we're coming in strong today.
Boy, what?
All right. Well, today is a special episode. This is per my request.
Okay.
Because we want to talk about a trip you just took to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You were on a reality show.
I was.
And we're going to get all into it. And I, to the audience, I swore to secrecy. I said, do not tell me anything about this, because I want to keep it for the show. And it's been a couple weeks now since you've been home. And now is the time to do it. So, man, I can't wait to hear all about your trip. But before we dig into the trip itself, let's give the audience some backstory on what this show is, what it's called, how you discovered it, what it's all about, and all that.
Yeah. So, to keep it simple, I'm very trusting, and I'm also a risk taker. And I don't know if you've ever heard of this term, cannonballing. So that's what I like to do, man. If I see something that seems interesting, bam, that's what's going to happen every time. I'm not going to go stick my toe in, bro. I'm going all the way, and then we're going to see how it works out. So I'm scrolling through my phone one night, just like this. That's my thumb action when I'm scrolling, and my eyes catch this big word called entrepreneur as it flips up, and I'm like, what was that? And so then I scroll back down, and it's casting for a reality TV show that is entrepreneurs, and it's like a competitive TV show. So you go on and you do competitions against other entrepreneurs that have their own business, right? And let's just be honest, Coach Camp is very much in the inception. It's in the inception. So we're not really grown very big yet. I was trying. It's 3 years in. And I said, this will be a good test. I'm very comfortable in some areas. This is going to be a shock, Derrick. I'm okay talking on a mic. I feel comfortable in front of a crowd, and give me some material and get out of my way.
Yeah.
I can just do it. But you know where I'm not good?
Where's that?
Business. I don't know how to make any money. I don't know how to do anything.
I'm starting to question myself in that department too.
I don't, because you're the only thing I've got. You're all I've got, man. So I said, all right, this feels very comfortable, uncomfortable. So I'm going to apply. Did not think anything of it. So you got this little questionnaire thing. You fill it out and send it in. Bam. You don't know if you're going to hear back or not. I don't know how long went by, maybe a week or so. I get an email that they're interested in having me as a contestant.
Yeah.
So then I go to the second phase and I fill out some stuff, and I do like 3 short videos, and I send that in, which is pretty standard for most reality TV shows. You got to do some kind of like video of yourself explaining who you are, why you want to do it, whatever. Do that. Don't think anything else of it. I'm going to hit this 3 more times.
We'll have to move
this hand, I don't feel my arm. It's fine. It's just flying out here. So the allergies are in the air. And then, so with the allergies, they drain, and I think it goes to my left arm.
I know all about
How
the allergies.
much money is that? Am I going to be out a lot of money for hitting this?
10,000.
I'm not even making 10.
For the listeners only, his left hand, Coach's left hand, keeps hitting my laptop.
Yeah,
table.
if you can't see that off the screen, I am pimp slapping the mess out of that thing.
And the reason being, the constant struggle in a podcast studio is camera angles and lighting and making things look good. So I'm constantly moving and adjusting and everything. So now, as if we're talking entrepreneurship and what we do, You hit a problem, you come up with a solution.
Sure.
You just keep upgrading. So now, clearly, I got to move my laptop.
Well, and the other problem is I have ADHD, so I can't sit still. I don't know
talk
if
with my hands too, man.
Yeah, I talk with my hands, my body,
hands.
my face. I will dance.
This is all the exercise I'm getting.
Yeah. So then the third phase, the quick third phase of this is they review that, then they set up a phone call. If you've made it to the third cut, they will set up a 30-minute phone call. They call me, I talk to them, they ask all these questions. And then they're like, all right, well, you'll know in about a week if you've been cast. Again, I'm thinking this ain't going to work. I'm not going to be on there. Why would they want me? Why would they want me?
I mean, you passed through all the levels.
The preliminaries.
You should have had some confidence.
I don't know. I guess to a point, I still feel like I'm an imposter at times. And that's actually a common theme that I can talk about once we get there, once I get to the show. But the point is, it's not just me. Most entrepreneurs feel like they're an imposter to their product, whatever that is.
You're looking at one right here.
It's tough to own it. It really is. And so that said, I get cast. I come to find out there are tens of thousands of people that apply for this thing, and they only took 113.
Yeah.
So it seemed like that was a pretty good, significant thing.
I'm going to say you were 89.
Okay.
Chosen.
I don't know how. I like that number, though. 89.
I mean, fair, right?
Yeah. That's good. That's fine. So I get there, man, and here's the short of it. There's a lot of things I could talk about on the show. Because when you get there, you do a quick intro, who you are, what your business is.
Let's not jump ahead real quick. So you find out you're on the show on a day, and then you go to Oklahoma. There was quite a bit of time in between.
There was a lot of time.
And you did everything you needed to do to be on it, and then you just had to sit around and kind of overthink it. But what I do know is you put the work in, and you watched all the seasons prior to you, and really did your research on it.
Did a lot of notes.
Yeah.
Took a lot of notes, watched all of them, broke it down. And what I realized was knowing what the information is and knowing how to apply it were two different things. And since I had very little practical understanding of it, it just really didn't play the same. And there were a lot of businesses there that had been doing this thing for a while, like working and making money and doing all the things that they're supposed to do, marketing, etc. So I really got smoked. I got the crap beat out of me. I'm not at liberties to say who won, but I can tell you, you're not going to see me at the front end of any of the contestants. Like, I started listening. I was like, wow, I am way overmatched. So then I'm just going to have my own fun. So I started doing mock interviews. I was walking around. This was like my microphone.
So
I was
hold
talking
on.
to people.
Okay, so I'm a timeline guy. So now I'm confused. So you lose early on in your trip?
No. When I got there, I immediately started losing. It was just
all right. Well,
the competitions.
Let's crawl our way through this.
Oh, let's crawl. I'm going to get down on my knees. Let's go.
So you're driving on the highway to Oklahoma. What's going on in your mind right now?
Singing. I was rocking, man.
Were you trying to just take your mind off it, not overthink it?
I don't know that I knew what to think about. So it was pretty simple. I was looking forward to it.
Was there any anxiety on the unknown ahead of you?
So I think that ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Okay. And
like
not knowing.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah. And so I just didn't know what I didn't know. And then when I get there and the first day comes to a wrap. So true story. And this is less levity, more reality. When I get there and I check in and it's like I look around and I see all these people that really seem like they have their stuff together.
So it's at a big like convention hall?
It's actually at a casino.
Okay.
But it's like there's a side that they have all set up. So, not on the floor, because that would be a risk and a gamble.
Oh, one of those quips.
That was a quip. That was a quip. So, and I will be honest with you, Derrick. I was in my hotel room that night. In fact, I'd actually called you at some point, and I'm like, dude, I think I might need some support here mentally. And I did think maybe this was the wrong choice. Maybe I should go home.
A little intimidated?
A little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a little bit. And it wasn't like, I just felt like I was going to make a fool of myself. Like I was really not what I needed to be there. But come to find out, that was the majority of people that felt the same way.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well then cool. But it only took about a day and a half, and I started making some friends.
Yep.
And I didn't know anyone when I got there, and I left with a lot of people that I know. So that made it easier.
Yeah,
right? So
and the other people were showing up not knowing
yeah.
anyone else either.
And then when I relate the story, it's just like, okay. But here's the funny thing. So like they got all these TV cameras and stuff, and they're always micing you up. And you could tell, because there was a lot of people that's not what they do. And they were nervous about that part. And I was just like, come on, where's my spotlight? Let me just put some more lights on. You got this. Let's go.
See,
let's go.
Look,
So that part was my wheelhouse.
There you go.
Now, what I found was I was real good at answering a question, very detailed, and having no idea what I was saying.
Hey, dude. Come on now.
Yeah. You know
like,
what
I like I said, I pretend to be a business owner here. You just figure it out.
I just figure it out.
Yes.
Did you ever see Billy Madison?
Of course.
You know that answer he gives at the end?
No, I don't. I can't remember.
He just dribbles on forever, and then when he's done, the guy that's like he's the host of the competition. He goes into this detailed explanation of, now that you have given this answer, everyone in this room is dumber. Yes. I kept waiting to hear that from the background.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, it was good. It was interesting. I could give a motivational speech on this thing actually about how it played to me, but there was one thing that stood out. All right, so like it was get it. It's nonstop get it is what I'm trying to say. Those are all the words, and they're supposed to line up that way. Nonstop get it for 5 days.
So like what is get it?
You get up at like 8:30, and you finish at like 9:30.
And then they're putting you through different games, challenges.
You're sitting through
workshops.
You're sitting through like a 2-hour class, rapid fire class. You're taking as many notes as you can. Then right after that, you go to lunch. And then after lunch, you just immediately go into like, you have 15 minutes to do a 3-minute pitch. Then you've got a 12 to 15 minute consultation. All these things are graded and recorded.
So you got to give a pretend consultation to somebody?
Well, no, it's not pretend. It's like the judges are asking you questions. Okay. And like you're up in front of everybody.
And asking you about your business.
Well, they're asking about the material from that day, about how that applies to my business.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like this round table of activities, which if it was just like free fall, man, I could do that all day. That's easy. But it was very specific things. And one particular guy, I don't mind throwing his name out there, Mr. Chase. Man, he saw through all my BS so easy. I'm just rapid fire answering back at him. And then he's like, well, how does that work? And why is that like that? I don't think that's going to, I'm like, oh God. All right. So finally we get to a point where he's rebutted me so good.
He's broken you down.
I said, I tell you what, interview's over. I'm now going to hire you. Congratulations, you're on team camp. So I just hired the judge. I didn't know if that gave me a bonus point, but I'm like, dude, you got a job.
Did he at least giggle on that?
Oh yeah. Okay. The rest of the week, that was the joke.
Okay. So
he would come up and be like, humor. Are we making money? I'm like, I hope so. Are you working? So yeah. A lot of good natured people. Yeah. It was, even though it was like a competition, I can honestly say that it was like it was a really good-natured competition where people wanted to see other people win.
But it was also designed as a way to be a convention, not a convention. That's not the word I'm looking for. Like a big workshop.
It was a big networking workshop.
Yeah, and they're teaching you.
Yeah, I got friends all over the country now.
Those little tasks, and then you got 10, 15 minutes to come to me with a consultation. They're teaching you.
Oh, it was
all along.
Absolutely an entrepreneurial
class. That's worth the whole trip.
That and the people. I'm gotta be honest with you, man. We're gonna have several guests come on the Motivate with Coach Camp show from all over the country, from friends that I made on this very trip. So very beneficial there. And here's the takeaway for this show that I got. What I come to realize was I have been in a very good relationship with Coach Camp. We have had good times. We have committed to each other. We're not going to see other people. And so when I'm talking to Coach Camp, it's like, and this is the hypothetical business side of Coach Camp, and I'm talking to him and I'm just like, why do we want to get married? Because we have a good thing going. And so then this whole thing was kind of like, dude, you need to just come on and get off the pot and let's go. Let's do this thing. It's time to get married. So that's the whole idea, was that I've had this very communal relationship with the Coach Camp business, but now it's time to go to the next level and sign that contract and actually get married. So our relationship's going to change.
So when are you quitting your job?
I don't know. I got to make at least $5. My wife still likes to shop, man. She likes to shop. So what's been going on with you, buddy?
Oh, no. We're not done yet.
I wanted it to be done.
No. Questions. Throughout that trip.
Yeah.
Tell me about the moment that you felt like you really were able to shine.
Okay, I got you. I do have a spot.
Okay, go.
Did you know this?
Well, that's why I wanted to wait.
Because I'm going to tell you now.
Oh, I know you're going to tell me.
Yeah, but I didn't know if you knew ahead of time. I don't know if you like had a camera set up yourself.
No, I was not there.
You're good like that.
I was not there.
All right. Well, so it became very evident by the end of day 2. Coach Camp was not going to have a moment for Coach Camp. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking to myself, I need to have that showcase moment where people do see my skill set, because honestly speaking, I do feel like I have a speaking skill set. And
you think?
I feel like it.
Dude, you do.
I'm confident.
Okay, we can all agree.
All right.
Yes, you do.
And so I wanted that moment. I wanted to shine. And I knew I wasn't going to be on the stage because that wasn't happening. I wasn't even coming close. I was getting smoked in these competitions, which is fine. Okay, so that's fair. I mean, it's just,
I don't want to derail. I want to go back to that. That means that you had to win some competitions to have placement on the stage.
Yes.
Gives you better visibility. I get it.
And then then that's more points too. But yeah, those points weren't coming. They were not coming to me.
See, I have questions about the game side of this too.
I was
we'll get to that.
handing away so many of them.
I'm not letting you go.
Yeah, I see this
super fast.
We're falling into it.
Back to your moment of shine.
So I don't remember if it was probably the 4th night. I think it was like we had made it all the way to the 4th night, and there was 5 days of film. And on the 4th night, the final night before the end, right? So they have these little things where they'll have groups of the 113 businesses, and they'll separate out and do different things. Well, on this night, there was like maybe 40 people around the fire pit outside, and one of the judges, and they do a lot of mentorship, a lot of positive speaking.
Right up your alley.
Well, I like it. Yeah.
Yes.
And so one of the judges gets up, and so there's like this little fire pit thing. You stand up on the thing and you can walk around. You just don't want to fall in, because then you got a whole nother scenario going on, which paramedic camp would have kicked in if that would have happened for somebody. So I'm like, dude, I'm ready. I don't have any gear, but I know stuff, and I know how to call somebody. Mm-hmm. So he's up there talking, and he's giving his story as to why he got into entrepreneurship. And by the way, he and his brother are going to be on our show, Motivate with Coach Camp, down the road, probably this summer.
Beautiful.
That's a trailer, a tease. That's a tease.
So
he gives a story. It's a very touching, moving, real life story as to why he got into entrepreneurship and how it affected him and his family and stuff. And so I'm like, man, I'm digging that. Mm-hmm. And then he does the moment that I needed. He opened the floor and he said, does anyone here want to share their why? I know.
Yes.
Cannonball.
And then you just,
Cannonball! That was my moment. I had a captive audience. I had a stage, so to speak, with fire behind me, which is.
I wish I would have been there.
If you'd have had slow-mo with the fire and some background music, I mean, we're charging a hill. That's all I'm saying. Something's going to happen big. So I get up there, man, and his story was so moving and touching and real. It was a perfect segue to my why for Coach Camp.
He got you fired up already.
Yes.
You were coming in hot.
And his story is my why. And so this is the best part. And so, Tyler, if you're watching this, you know this moment happened. So I go up there, and he leans into me, and he's like, so what's your why? He's just like,
so you walk up there. So what's the setting?
We're all around this big fire pit. You have to understand, this fire pit has like a 2.5 foot, brick wall around it.
So he basically said, hey, okay, come on up, stand next to me.
Yeah, because I rose my hand. So he's like, I'm coming up.
Okay. So
I'm going up on there.
You didn't have to just stand up and speak where you're from.
No, I wanted to be up on the top stage.
Let's go.
That's what you got to do.
That's what you do.
That's your command presence.
Just trying to paint the picture.
You got to have a command presence. That's what I've been told.
Visibility. Yeah.
So he leans in, he looks in my eyes. He's like, what's your why? And I looked at him and I said, you. Now it's weird for a minute.
And then he was like, really?
And I'm like,
oh, so sweet of you.
I'm like, it's you. You'll understand in a minute. So when I get up there, man, I can't tell you what I said, but I just know that what I said was real, and it was about him, because in the end, my platform with Coach Camp was all about positivity and sharing that platform to help tell other people's stories that I knew would hit home and have an impact in other people's lives. And when I was done, man, and I was doing some fire.
Did you bring the fire?
I brought the fire, which wasn't appreciated by everybody, because some were scared. I think I scared them. I used my coach voice.
I mean, it gets elevated.
It's elevated.
We know this.
I'm a coach. And actually, so a sweet girl, she did come up and mention, she's like, hey, look, you got to know your audience because it's scared. And I was like, all right, remember, I'm a coach. So coaches yell.
Yeah.
if you ever watch the sports, but I get it too, because you know, you don't want to frighten them, everybody. But in the end, it was very well received.
How about the gentleman that brought you up?
Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. He's coming on my show.
Oh, that's right.
He's bringing his brother from Oregon to sit in studio.
Are you serious?
Dude, it's amazing.
So he knew he was standing across a talent.
Yeah, well, and
a unique individual.
It definitely resonated. It resonated 100%. And so then that night led to the next morning, and I put it out that I will give everybody a motivational speech going the last day if you guys want to meet at the fire pit. The next day, though, something about you need to know about Tulsa, Oklahoma at that time was freezing, and it was windy. And I'm like, this is some bull crap. So we're going to do it in the lobby.
How many showed up?
Probably about 25.
Oh, nice.
It was perfect. And one of the judges, a different judge, is walking by, and he stops, and then the camera crew happened to be coming by, and they were like, what are y'all doing? Because everybody's gathering up, and they're like, Coach Cam's going to give a speech, and they're like, can we catch it? So then they all go grab their camera gear and stuff. So I don't know if it makes the show. It's going to air on Amazon Prime. Okay. I'm on season 14.
We'll see.
I'm on season 14. They're doing season 10, so I don't know how long it takes to put a season out, but camera crews were there. So here's what I thought. What does an entrepreneur do? They hit the table next to him.
I'm sorry,
it's the first thing an entrepreneur does.
If I tried moving that table right now, I'd knock the light down.
I'm just going to tie my hand to my leg. I'm going to tie my hand to my leg. So ultimately, what I said was an entrepreneur creates their own opportunity. And when an opportunity presents, you don't walk away. Mm-hmm. You enter that door. And so the night before was my opportunity. I walked through that door. It did create recognition,
a moment
of what Coach Camp can do. Mm-hmm. And then the next day, it was definitely, there was a group that just, it was word of mouth kind of, but they showed up. And I think I hit it again. I knocked it out of the park, is what I'd say.
I would say that next day crowd were,
expectations were high,
but less of a chance to be frightened by them.
And I didn't go coach level.
I bet you could have, though.
I could have.
And not freaked out anybody, because
except security, because we were in the lobby. But other than that, it would have been fine.
But you had a more
understanding audience.
Yes.
Yeah. They knew
what they were getting into, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But typical of you.
Yeah.
You built an audience while you were there, and that might not have given you points. You said you got your butt kicked and everything, but
yeah.
But you went as you,
and
you made the right impressions in front of a lot of people. That's the best you can do.
The one thing I was not going to do is compromise me. I wasn't going to try to be something I wasn't ever, because that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. And so I never did compromise that. Yeah. I kept true to me the whole time, and it did not, translate to money or prizes being won. But it's not always a trophy that a person wins. It's growth. And for me, I grew immensely that week. Yeah. And the friendships and stuff and connections, speaks volumes.
But here's the other beautiful part about this is there was only one of you there.
That is true.
So when you had your moments like this and connected in those ways, it was different than everybody else. So
I would say so.
So you made yourself very unique, which is going to help you stand out. And be more memorable, quite honestly. Prime example in my world, I have this podcast called the Rhythm Section Podcast. As you know about it, but to explain it, I and my drummer, my co-host, interview all kinds of local musicians, artists, producers, and it's become very popular in Memphis, the music scene of Memphis, very popular. We get recognized. Me and Jeff try to go out and catch bands and everything.
Has anyone said anything about my harmonica playing?
Not yet.
All right,
not yet.
Throw that in there.
But and I promise I'm getting to the point here.
Yeah, no, I was just curious about that. As you're talking about the big music scene, I'm like, have they thought, man?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We need a harmonica player. We saw that episode.
Yeah, just learn the 12-bar blues, and I'll get you a gig.
All right, keep going.
But so as the relationship grows between me and this new audience, and going out and shaking hands and really becoming friends with everybody, it's also, this podcast gave me visibility as a musician, and then I started getting work. So now the podcast started working in a business way. Point I'm getting to is now it's at a point where, because I've found a steady band, which is a Tina Turner tribute band, and playing now in front of these people that I've built relationships with, I had one of the coolest comments from one lady. Her name's Donna. She's like, Derrick, it's so cool. I had no idea that you were at that level bass player, and so yes, now you're a bass player to me too. But I'm always going to think of you as for the podcast.
Interesting.
And I was like, you know what? I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's 1,000 bass players in Memphis, but only one
bass player podcaster.
Well, just
I want to be that.
There's one podcast, and I will say at a higher level, that is Memphis Music Podcast, and there's one lead host on that show, me.
That's right.
So if I would rather be remembered as the one person than this ocean of bass players, even though that's good too. I'm trying to build a reputation as a bass player to try to get more work, but I'm okay. I'm A-okay if they're like podcast guy instead of bass player.
Yeah. And now you have another connection. Yeah. I have found out. Do you know this?
What? You going
Darren
Yates?
Yeah, because he's a radio show musician.
Yes.
Crazy man that, guess what, was on the Blox with me.
So you post a picture of the last Cannonball episode on published day. It was a picture of you and I and whatnot. And in the comments, I see my old friend Darren Yates commenting. I was like, what? No. I'm like, what's going on here?
That sounds like a dun, dun, dun.
No, not that one. Not that one. Where is it?
Makes sense. I don't know. Hit that blue button. Hit the blue button. That sounds like fun.
I know I have that, don't I? You do? There it is. There it is.
That's perfect timing for that one.
Amazing.
It's all right.
That was amazing
timing. That's what I do. I'm a sounds guy.
That was awful timing.
Well, that's what I heard a lot while I was on the show.
Wake up, Derrick!
It's like there's the answer, and I'm like, oh, wowsy.
Oh, wowsy powsy.
Yeah.
All right, so I jump into the thread. I'm like, dude, how do you guys know each other? And you were like, dude, we were on the show, Blox. I was like, wow, amazing. So that was just funny. And so I started refollowing him. Story behind Darren, because I said I would wait for the show with you.
So you guys are rock stars.
He's one of the very early, and I want to write down the time as I edit this. I'm going to write down the timestamp, and I'm going to send this to Darren when it's published. Yeah. Well, no, it's going to be a different time.
It's going to be something other. It's going to be a different time. I'm just going to keep this arm.
It's going to be a different timeline. But I want to send this to him. So Darren.
Yeah.
This is for you, man. So, and I'm sorry if I misremember.
Smacking the hand.
It was
smacking the hand vibes. All right, that's fine. Well, I got the ADD. I got the ADD that happened. Bam. That's all right.
Fist bump it.
And then snap. Blow it up.
So I apologize for misremembering this. It was many years ago and a lot of drugs ago.
Okay.
And a lot of drinking ago. Okay.
You're talking about like Advil?
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes ibuprofen.
Ibuprofen, anti-inflammatory.
Switch it up. So Darren was one of the first players, artists, bands that I met when I moved to Nashville. Very, very early on. I moved there in 2005 and October of 2005. And Darren, did I meet you on MySpace?
Is he going to call in?
I hope so.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We
need a phone. One of those old rotary.
We may have met on MySpace. He had a band called On Tracy Lane. And he was reforming some of his band, needed a bass player. I want to say we found each other on MySpace or Craigslist, back when Craigslist actually
was pretty
worked.
Popular. Yeah.
It actually worked.
There was a killer once on there. You got to watch out for them.
Yeah.
A killer.
That was me.
Killer. Oh, wow.
That was me. Yeah.
How about that? Well, you were crushing hearts, dog. That's what I'm saying.
So, and I hope Darren is listening to this, so I apologize, Darren.
He's obligated.
Did we play a show, Darren? Or did we just hang out and rehearse? And I think maybe I ended up then starting with another project. But as it goes in Nashville, you audition or you just jam with a band or whatever it may be, and then it just you go in different directions.
Sure.
But we kept in touch for years, and we would see each other here and there, and it was just a delight. So what, Darren, because you are watching.
Yeah, he is.
By now, you've seen the Facebook video that me and Coach sent you.
That's right.
We want your butt.
Yep.
In the greater Memphis, North Mississippi
Down
area.
here in studio.
Yes. Studios in Hernando, Mississippi. Look it up. You're 4.5 hours away. Why do I know that? Because I went to the Metallica concert last November, and I'm sorry I didn't reach out. I never thought. Because I knew Darren was in St. Louis. I knew this.
Paddywhack.
I knew this.
Should have gave that dog a bone.
So, but But 4.5 hours, man.
It's easy peasy.
Come on.
Lemon squeezy.
Grab a room. As you saw in the video, Coach is going to buy you dinner.
Mm-hmm.
We're all going to hang out. We'll get you in studio. We'll
Cannot get a room at the Hampton Inn right now.
Well, you know what? We should do 2 shows with them.
It's been burnt up.
We should do a Motivate with Coach Camp, where now you guys can really dig deep into the Oklahoma experience,
sure,
because you were both there, and then get them on, on this one, Cannonball, and then just shoot the breeze with Darren. Now we'll say, Darren, language. This is a G-rated platform with Coach Camp, and I have to censor myself when I'm on this mic.
I've got young people. There's a lot of young people that watch my stuff.
Yes,
absolutely. A lot of young people.
Absolutely.
Kindergartners and such. So it's just
we would ask Darren. We can't bring in your Howard Stern influence.
That's all right. He'll be all right.
He'll
we can do
fine.
beeps. You got a beep button over there, don't you? It would just sound like a lot of rap songs when they're on the radio.
I don't have that yet. I need to, but it would have to be done in post production.
You could do the buzzer sound every time, and so it would just be like a continuous at times.
So, but anyways, Darren, that was cool to see. I know you're watching. Come on.
Yeah, come on, dog.
Let's go.
So look, how are you holding up? Because I know one thing about you. You've got this snot fest happening right now.
Yes.
If you're from the South,
man,
bro, this is the time of year. This is like the slam dunk time of year.
Well, this is my whole life, even when I lived in Maine.
Yeah. They have stuff that produces up there and just like blooms.
Oh, it's awful.
I didn't think there was anything.
It's
going
later.
on
It's not. It's probably more in later April into May.
We'll give you a little extra
because it's absolutely several times in my lifetime snowed early spring. Like still,
I think it's snowing right now.
Like
in
last
some
week,
we're in April.
Last week of March, snow, and then we have had snow in April up there. So that tells you what you need to know as far as the shift in time. You know where, and it's short because come September, the beach is shut down. It just starts getting really cold, and it just starts getting icky. Where here we'll still have 90-degree weather all September.
Sure.
Anyways, allergies. Always had them very, very bad all my life. When I was younger, I had to take medicine, eye drops.
This is where the drugs came in. This is where you started doing drugs. I see it now. It all makes sense.
It was awful, and that's just been a battle, all my life. And I get it in the fall as well.
A little bit, me too. Ragweed, stuff like that. That blooms. Sure.
But I've had in my later adult life plenty of springs where I was like, wow, maybe I'm aging out of this because it wasn't awful.
And then a drop kick.
This year.
Yep.
And I got a double ear infection because I got congested, and
at least you don't have 3 years. That's what I say. Look at the positive. Always find the positive. Where's the silver lining?
Right.
If you had a third ear, you would have a tri-ear infection. That's worse.
Well, do
you ever navage? Do you do the thing with the nose and the stuff and the up the nose and the shooting?
And the shooting, or
like
the
they have
drainage?
like the thing, and it's like it's a flush.
Yes, I've done the manual neti pot.
The neti pot. Have you seen the commercial?
No.
I call bullcrap. Where's the flag? I'm throwing bullcrap flag. The woman is on the commercial and she looks so happy and she got the thing up in her nose. She like, no. I tried it one time, man. I was drowning. I had stuff coming out my eyeball holes. You got these little bitty lacrimal ducts. They were like flowing out. I'm like, I was drowning.
Yeah. It feels like, when you jump into a pool, and
it's like
I got to fix this. Cannonball! And you get water up your nose.
Yes.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah, it does.
With the neti pot, but I found lukewarm. Don't go cold. Don't go hot.
Lukewarm salt.
Yeah.
You got to have those things.
I got used to it. I did. It was weird at first, but then I haven't done that in a while. I should probably check that out. But
I'm giving you ideas.
But what also made this year, I know this show is supposed to be, fun.
Yeah.
But
taking a dark turn.
Pseudoephedrine apparently causes depression. And I'd never experienced that before through pseudoephedrine. I can only look at that as a trigger because depression is a part of my life. Always. It's always there with anxiety. It's always kind of there. But man,
When you look at my ratings, does that make you
out.
depressed? You're just like, oh, we're tanking so hard.
When I get sick and have to just be on the couch, it's frustrating and
It's tough.
because my mind wanders and it goes places, right? And then boom, doesn't take long before now I'm purposefully isolating,
Yeah.
and that's what that turned into. And then I started feeling better. And then it started hitting me again. And then instead of taking pseudoephedrine, like decongestant antihistamine, I just said, no D.
No D.
No Claritin D. No Zyrtec D.
Take the D out.
Take the D out.
Yeah.
And even that, knocked me on my butt and put me in a funk. So it's just been a weird last couple weeks, man.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and
as we record
some awesome into it or something.
And as we record this, I canceled yesterday. This is 24 hours late.
It's okay.
As far as
nobody knows. Nobody knows.
So it was
we're time traveling.
To be transparent, I absolutely looked puffy eyed. I looked miserable.
You did,
and I sounded miserable. But it was also just I didn't want to be in the studio.
Yeah, I get it.
It was weird.
My wife was disappointed. She's like, "You're not going to the studio today?" Oh, okay, all right, so you're here. So she got depressed.
She's disappointed because she wants another Cannonball show because we found that she's a fan.
She did laugh out loud hard.
So she listens to this show, but not yours.
Not by choice. I just play it out loud in the kitchen.
Well,
now.
make sure she hears this part.
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing along with us.
Yeah, and that was an authentic real one, not like a. It wasn't one of the. It wasn't that button. It was more the maniacal.
This one?
That was more like it.
Or this one?
That would if like I had a couple. You do have a rim shot.
Yes, I do.
You said you didn't have that.
Oh, I found one.
Oh. I'm gonna need that all the time in my life.
So your wife's name is Alicia.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah,
hello, Alicia.
Yeah. She's very happy that we say it on the air. I told her too that the next episode has her actually talking because I put the phone up to the mic.
Nice.
And she goes, "This was literally her reaction." Oh, great. That's it. So I was like, I think that she's happy about that. That's how I'm interpreting.
Your wife came up in the last episode because you were telling us the story about the neck brace, the stretcher thingy.
She enjoyed watching me nearly die.
Yeah.
Or maybe she was just questioning her life choice with her partner.
So you're dying, your face is all red, and you look over at Alicia.
She's just like,
and she's like, that's not my husband.
Nope, I don't know why this is happening.
Why did I marry that man?
I'm like, I'm not breathing, but I can't say words.
That's not the sound, Derrick. That's not the sound.
Which one is it?
She looked at you, and that's how she felt.
And it's not the first time, and it won't be the last. There's going to be so many more. So many more. I do have a story I wanted to share.
Go for it.
Do we have time for it?
Dude, we do whatever we want.
This thing just happened. This happened.
This is Cannonball.
Look, you got a mom.
Yes, I do.
I've got one of them. Love her to death. She is now that she's gotten older. I don't want to say she's old, but she's older, right? Past 70. She's funny. She does funny stuff. And so mom, she may watch this. I don't know. But she found out, I think, about the other episodes. I think now she's black marketed this one. So I don't know if she's going to listen to Cannonball or not. But not really. Not really. She probably will.
Well, she's going to hear some stories that she's probably not heard before.
A lot of stories if she listens to these.
Because you expressed concern of that on the last show. And my answer, I didn't think of it then.
Yeah.
And I'll think of it now.
Okay.
You're a 50-year-old grown man.
Sort of.
Man-child.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
You can say what you need to say.
I just, you
don't want to make Christmas awkward.
I'm not real, but sometimes not being not real doesn't mean you got to tell the truth about everything. You ain't got to say some stuff. It ain't a lie if you ain't talking.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Pleading the fifth.
And if mom shouldn't know it, then maybe your audience shouldn't know it.
Yeah, they probably should all know it. But nevertheless, I'm not perfect. So look, here's the deal. Mom, as you know, when you get older, parts break down. Parts start to break down. Now, there's a bigger point to the story that I'm going to get to, but she is set up. She has to have her third back surgery. She's had a lot of back issues and stuff, so she has her third back surgery. So I was going to take her to the hospital, Baptist East Hospital. We had to be there early before I think even the next day happened. Like you had to be there so early in the morning that they didn't even know if they wanted to count that day yet. So it was like really, it was dark outside kind of early. And we get there and so she had to be checked in at 5:30 for her surgery that day. And it was it was March the 30th, which I didn't think about, which is a Saturday. Usually you don't do scheduled surgeries on weekends, especially before a holiday. But I didn't think about it, and it's easy to mistake a date. So my mom, and the quick story on her side was, it was supposed to be April 30th, but it was March 30th was when we show up. So we're a whole month early. We're a whole month early.
No.
All right. So we're definitely going to be in the front of the line on this one. This is like whenever they used to do the releases at Circuit City and people would set up chairs outside to get the first thing.
Did you bring your tent?
No.
Sleeping bag?
Turns out what I'm about to tell you, I didn't need. So I was perfectly comfortable because I had the whole hospital, it turns out. So because this is a weekend where there's no surgeries, and the weekend before Easter and no surgeries, and there's no nothing, this is a part of the hospital. So like there's this big open reception area you come into, and then there's the hallways, and then there's offices. So this isn't like it's just like one room. This is a portion of the actual hospital. I'm a paramedic. I've been in hospitals for a long time. Okay. I've never not seen a person in a hospital. Only time I ever see that is on scary movies.
So it was slightly eerie?
Well, this is where I'm going. Okay. I'm in a TikTok for those that follow me. If you don't, you should get on Motivate with Coach Camp, TikTok. So we go in, and there's nobody. And I'm like, Mom, are you sure it's today? She's like, I'm sure that's what she told me. It's like, all right. So no one in the waiting room area, no one at the reception desk, no one at the front of the hospital. And we wait for like 15, 20 minutes. No one shows up. And I'm like, okay, Mom, I'm going to go.
Something is up.
I said, I'm going to do a lap. I'm going to walk around, and we're going to find somebody. I start walking. Derrick, I'm telling you, dog, there was 15 hallways I went down. Offices were open. Lights were on. You could have went in. If I was a master hacker, I could have got on the computer and downloaded some secret codes or something. I don't know. Everything was empty. There was not a human being
now
in the hospital. And so finally, I'm like, dog, and that's how I talk to my mom whenever we're at that moment. I'm just like, dog, we got to do something. And so my thought was, I'm just going to make TikToks. And so I started walking around videotaping the voidness of the entire hospital.
While still thinking,
this is scary.
Someone is eventually going to come to us.
Probably with a mask on their face and a butcher knife in their hand. That's what I was anticipating.
But you still think a surgery will be...
Not anymore. Now I'm just intrigued, and I'm starting to think, well, for those of you of faith, did the rapture happen and I didn't make the cut? I'm like, did I get left off? And I'm like, look, I'm texting. I'm like, God, what happened? I thought I was on the first bus.
I hope at least your mom would have.
My mom, I know. Taken. I'm like, dude, I am left behind. There was a movie, I think, Left Behind. That's me. And now I'm like, well, so how do I take this? Do I enjoy the moment through the hospital? Do I just go have fun, put a coat on, act like I'm a doctor? I don't know what to do. So a lot of thoughts are running through my mind. Finally, I find a janitor, and he's like, oh, I don't think anybody's here, and you can use that phone. And there was like a phone on the wall for operator. And then they patched me through a few. And then I finally talked to a person, and I'm like, hey, look, I just was making sure the apocalypse wasn't happening. So I'm just glad there's a human being on the other side of this phone right now. We are a month early. So then I told the lady, it was a nurse lady that finally got a hold of us, like, hey, can we go ahead and check in? Because we're here.
Can we get it now? So obviously this is not a section for emergencies.
No okay. Emergency section. Yeah. But it was the thing that was surprising was everything was open. You know,
right.
No one being there is one thing, but you would think all the offices would be locked up. And stuff. Nothing was locked.
And lights on.
Yeah. It was wide open. It was wide open.
Yeah. And if they're closed on Saturday, you certainly know that Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. So that's full weekend of just openness.
It seems like
anyone could have just.
I promise.
It's kind of weird. We're putting this in public domain here.
Well, I mean, hey, maybe Baptist needs to pay attention. Pay attention, Baptist.
Yeah, because a very strange man.
Yeah,
just walked himself into the entire office area.
Very weird. Yeah, look, I'm telling you, if one of those lights would have flickered like they do bro, I'm telling my mom, look, you've had a pretty good life, Mom. I gotta go. I gotta run, and you're going to slow me down. And then I got to run.
Right around the corner, pops right in front of you.
What you gonna do?
And now you're running.
Full speed. And that's not fast. So,
but you can go a distance.
Yeah, and I can outrun my mom. So, anyways.
Leave her in the dust.
It's like, but yeah, it was an interesting experience. That's what I did this weekend.
Oh, good.
This past weekend.
You know what I did this weekend? I already described that.
Snotted it up.
Oh, man.
Snotted it up.
But I hope coming to the studio today wakes me up a little bit, puts me in a groove, But we could do a whole episode on, you know, imposter syndrome.
Sure.
And the weight of being a very tiny entrepreneur.
We could do a whole show
Stressful.
about being a very weird man in a hospital. I mean, there's a whole lot of things that took place in there.
But do you want to wrap it up today? Let's
Yeah.
see. Yeah. Oh my God, we went a distance on this.
We went deep. That was like a home run. Well, that's why I was considering, should I give this mom one? But it would get old after a week. So, but it was an interesting story. And hashtag no problem. Not mad at mom. It was just an accident. But in the end, gave me a story for the rest of my life. Saw things I didn't see that I never thought I would see when I didn't see them.
With that, man, we can't. Oh shoot.
More buttons.
I was trying to make this smooth. Okay, again, in real time, figuring out the format of this place. So the way we can get out of it is Cannonball. Everyone, thanks for watching and listening.
Sir.
Right?
Next time.
Yes.
Woo!
Coach Cam out.